Hey there. So I ran into a challenge recently where I felt anything but courageous and confident. And so I want to use this episode to talk to you about success, about fear, about courage, and about confidence. And we'll start with my story and we will take it from there.
These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough.
Okay, so recently I discovered an author named Dr. Aziz Gazipura. And he's the author of a book called Not Nice, also another book called On My Own Side. And really, he is very quickly becoming my new favorite personal development author because he's a psychologist by training, and he really gets so much of this. He comes from a place of just not feeling socially confident and wanting to become socially confident. And then he just went deep into that, and he discovered, like the spiritual aspects of that, and self-compassion, and also how to apply all of this in a very practical manner out in the world to accomplish whatever you want, to achieve whatever goals you have. And he has this program called Confidence University. And I was going through the program. I was starting the program recently. And it starts with this Confidence Foundation course. And I was zooming through the lessons, and each lesson comes with an action assignment. And, one of them is like, what's your reasons for wanting to be confident? What's going to happen if you're not confident? All this like foundational stuff of just like putting yourself in the right mind state. Yeah, I want to learn confidence so that I can, go out and do whatever, right? Just getting you in touch with your motivations for going through the program. And then I ran into the first one that really stumped me. And it feels really ridiculous that this stumped me because I have so much confidence in certain areas. Like hitting record on this video and publishing it for thousands of people to see on the internet, standing up in the front of a room with hundreds of people around and, giving a speech, like those things would absolutely terrify so many people. And for me, I feel pretty darn comfortable in those spaces. I haven't always, but part of me has felt pulled to do things like that, because even in college, I was a DJ, and so I did performance that way. I did performance poetry. I did slam poetry, which was a fun thing to do for a while. And there were certainly times when my lack of confidence, made me struggle in those contexts. But in general, in most contexts, people see me as a very confident person. And then this challenge, this action step, this whatever, like it's so small. The action step was go ask 5 total strangers for what time it was. So in whatever context, ask them what time it is. And then bonus, ask 3 strangers for a restaurant recommendation. Go ask 3 strangers for a restaurant recommendation. You don't even have to get the time from them. You don't even have to get the restaurant recommendation. If they like make faces at you and grumble and turn away and say, I don't have time for you, it's still a win. Like, it's just go out and go interact with these strangers with these specific requests. And immediately my inner critic turned on. And my inner critic says, oh, you can check the time on your phone, right? You can go Google restaurant recommendations. You don't have to ask these people what time it is. You don't have to ask these people. See, you don't even go out to eat very much anyway. So like, why ask for restaurant recommendations? You usually know what time it is because that's something you pay attention to. Why ask these people? And so there's all of this inner monologue going that's just giving me all these reasons to not take these actions. Underneath, there really is a fear. Like this got to a place in me where this has been my place of minimum confidence, which is going out and interacting with strangers. And so, like, I've spent my life going to all these public events, like public work events and all of that. And I find that introduction a very difficult thing. Once I'm connected with someone, once I've been introduced or whatever, I can just open up and have a, long, deep conversation with people and be really engaged and be engaging. But breaking that barrier of, I've never talked to you before and now I've talked to you, which you're forced to do over and over again with this exercise, for me brings up so much fear. And there are other places where I still have this fear, this lack of confidence, and that I really struggle to get the courage to take action. And I know that, like, part of the reason I'm going through this program in the first place is because there's entire worlds that are not open to me yet, because I struggle with these things. And I want to open those worlds up. I want to take them on. And so I thought that I would share this just as much as a lesson for you as anything. Like, you may watch my daily episodes or listen to my daily episodes, however you're getting them. You may engage with all my content. You may engage with me in the context of a work scenario, or if you know me personally, you may engage with me personally. And you may see me as this generally, like, confident guy who, like, is very easily able to hold conversations and so on. But there's certainly still places, there's big places that I know where I have these boundaries that I've erected in my mind, where I don't feel powerful enough, I don't feel courageous enough to act in the face of fear. And I recognize that, we all have these, and it's such an opportunity for growth, for success, for achievement, for confidence, for, like, feeling good about ourselves, by first bringing attention and awareness to the fact that, oh geez, I'm having these feelings. And even as I describe this, like, I feel the feelings in my chest and my esophagus and my stomach of just, like, tightness and clenching and, like, just not good feelings. And and I notice that lack of courage, and I feel that fear. And we all have those places. And for you, it may be manifesting in, some work scenario where if you could just approach that client, or if you could just make that proposal, or if you could just, reach out to a new prospect, or if you could just go to that networking event, or if you could just, whatever it is, right? If you could just do that thing that scares you, then who knows what's going to happen next, right? I in a completely different scenario, a work-related scenario, and I can't really spill the details about this. I last week just reached out to somebody, and it looks like an incredible opportunity is happening, because it was something where I did break that barrier, but because it was work related, because there was the context there, because I feel like I have this proof and credibility around who I am at work, I found it so much easier. And I have to remember that I didn't always feel this way about work. Oftentimes it was completely terrifying to reach out to new people, to make myself vulnerable, to put myself out there. So I want to share a couple other lessons really quickly around these things, recognizing that this episode is already going long and I'm only partway through my notes. But one of the things that I picked up from Dr. Aziz is this saying, do what scares you until fear has no power to stop you. And that was so impactful to me that I actually have my Google Calendar set to send me an email every day at like 5 a.m. saying, do what scares you until fear has no power to stop you. So every morning I wake up to that message. And it's a reminder, like, This isn't go do the thing that is completely and totally terrifying to you. It's go do those little things like going and asking a stranger what time it is at the supermarket, going and asking a stranger for a restaurant recommendation, even if that feels a little bit weird. Go out and do what scares you until fear has no power to stop you means go do that thing that's like 5% more you, 5% more bold, 5% more confident, 5% more action-oriented, 5% more vulnerable, 5% more like willing to fail or get rejected. Just 5% more this week, or even 1% more this week. You know, one of the whole premises of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets is 1% improvement per week doesn't feel like much, but when it is 1% on top of 1% on top of 1%, and it compounds through time, you get to this like tremendous place of success. And the exact same thing happens with confidence and courage and the willingness to do what scares you until fear has no power to stop you. And you'll always feel fear. You will always feel fear. You'll always feel fear. You're a human being. Like, humans are wired to feel fear in the face of the unknown. The question is, are you going to take the action? Are you going to feel the fear? Are you going to do it anyway? There's another great book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, that is all about this. Confidence is actually built through action. Now, I've talked about the Dan Sullivan 4 C's before, that, you know, first you make a commitment to taking action. And then we get to that courage point. You have to act, you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. You have to act in the face of fear. That's what courage is. Courage is not like not having fear, right? It's acting in the face of fear. And then when you act courageously, you build competence at whatever skill it is, whether that's, you know, some conversational skill, introducing yourself to strangers, having other conversations, whether it's about building relationships or something having to do with work or finances or whatever. You build that competence. And then as you start to recognize, oh, I am able to create success over and over again, you start to develop confidence. And it starts small, and it's a cycle. So with more confidence, you commit to more, and then you have more courage, or you act again with courage, and then you start to develop more competence and more confidence, and it just feeds back. And you have to, like, in order to do this, you have to accept fear. You have to embrace fear. You have to like recognize this fear is not going to go away. Fear is, it's a very powerful thing because it can completely shut you down, but it can also just remind you that, like, this is what you need to move towards. This is what you need to go do. And there's a recommendation that Dr. Aziz has that it's certainly not new to him. What I love about him is how he just kind of connects everything together and how he ties it to his own personal vulnerabilities. And he's really like doing this work inside himself and out in the world while also sharing it with us. But if you want to change your story about fear, I have a nice little metaphor for you. So we think of fear as a cancer cell, and fear can behave like a cancer cell. So cancer is like, it's this negative cell growth that just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And then it takes over and kills the host. And honestly, that's how fear feels when we are trying to shut it down, when we're trying to like prevent it, when we're trying to not feel fear. It can really just grow like cancer, right? So our story is fear is a cancer cell, right? There's another type of cell in the human body, or in, you know, any biological organism. Well, I'm not a geneticist, so I don't know that for sure, but at least in most animals, I think, it's the stem cell. And the stem cell is a really interesting cell. The stem cells are like the growth cells, the origin cells of our bodies, right? And so the stem cell, it gets a message that, oh, you need to grow into a brain. You need to grow into an arm. You need to grow into lungs. You need to grow into a heart. You need to grow into this thing. And it also grows very fast, like a cancer cell. A stem cell is designed to grow and like become something, but it's a positive growth, not a negative growth. It creates a bigger, stronger organism. It creates this organism. It doesn't destroy the organism in which it's growing. And so if we think of fear as a stem cell, and our courageous actions are a message to that fear and which way we need to grow, then what happens is like we take that courageous action. The fear like gives us that growth potential, right? The fear gives us the growth potential because it's telling us like you need to grow in this area. You're not sure if you can handle this, so this is an opportunity for you to grow. And then you take courageous action in the face of that fear. And then by telling the universe, yourself, whatever infinite intelligence, your subconscious mind, whatever forces are at work, by putting that message out that I can take action in the face of this fear, you do grow. And you grow because of the fear, you grow beyond the fear, and you grow into something that is like more capable, more complex, more able to be in the world and to interact in the world. And so fear can become a stem cell of amazing, incredible growth for all of us if we accept fear, if we embrace the fear. And part of that is transforming the story about fear, that it's not a cancer cell, that it's a stem cell, it's an opportunity for growth. And really, as a side note, the same is true for other negative emotions. Pain can be a huge opportunity for growth, and sadness and unhappiness, and I mean, all sorts of negative feelings that we have in our life can be opportunities to grow. We start by accepting anxiety. We start by accepting this, and we say, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now, and I'm feeling it in my body, whatever. I'm feeling it in like these places. I'm feeling this is what it feels like, and we feel it, and then we use it as an opportunity. What's it telling me? How can I grow? How can I use this situation that I'm in, that I'm responding to with anxiety, as an opportunity to grow? How can I use this how can this thing that I'm responding to with anxiety right now be the greatest gift in my life and an opportunity for a bigger, better life? Like how can that be true? And we find that only by being willing to embrace those feelings and not reject and try and push away and shove down those feelings, because it is only when we try and shove away and push down those feelings that they do start to behave like a cancer cell, that growth is unwanted growth. So this all comes back, like scrolling back up in my notes here, the initial note that I had for myself was that we were going to talk about success, fear, courage, and confidence. And, we've largely covered all of those, but I do want to loop back around to success. And success can be measured in lots of different ways, and you can have financial success, and you can have relationship success, and you can have like health success or fitness success, and you can, be achieving certain goals. And a lot of times doing those things out in the world does not actually feel fulfilling and does not feel successful, besides some momentary happiness that like passes through us and then, leaves an empty space when it's gone. So, you make $100,000 and, the next day you realize you're not any happier, or you make $1 million and the next day you realize you're not any happier. Or, there are billionaires who are completely miserable. Or, you have some particular scenario that you want in terms of, I'm going to like start this relationship. But then the relationship doesn't go well. And so, that didn't make me happier. I'm going to get this client, but then that doesn't go well. So it doesn't make you happy. Or I'm going to do all these things and I don't feel fulfilled in the end because I was chasing something out here, right? So what I like about Dr. Aziz is that he comes back to this feeling. And so I actually made a video fairly recently about nice versus not nice. And nice is honestly, it's not being true to yourself. It's being passive and like letting the world define you. Being mean is like, attacking the world and being aggressive on the world. But this not nice that he proposes and that others have proposed is being assertive, being real, being authentic, being willing to be you. And you feel you're most successful when you're being true to yourself, when you are honoring yourself, whatever needs, wants, desires you have, whatever fears, frustrations, failures, when you're like recognizing that and giving yourself love in the face of that, when you're like embracing and chasing your dreams, your desires, your destiny, when you're acting in service of yourself without harming or hurting others, you feel successful. Success is being who you are unapologetically, being who you are and like being okay with that, loving yourself. And I think, and you know, you probably recognize that when we love ourselves, we generally are going to treat other people pretty darn well. And so being who you are and loving yourself unapologetically and like embracing yourself and embracing your positive and negative qualities and embracing your foibles and embracing your like greatest wins and being grateful, being thankful to the universe, to yourself, to other people for all the positives in your life, being thankful for your fears and anxieties and opportunities to learn all those stem cells that are growing in your life. Like that, that is success. Success is being able to step up and to be who you want to be in the world. Like being true to yourself. Success is being true to yourself and honoring yourself and being who you want to be, regardless of whatever story somebody tells you about, oh, you have to look this way, or you have to have this much money, or you have to like have this level of career success or whatever. Yeah, all of those can be great. And when you love yourself more, some of those things become so much easier, actually. Some of those things become attainable when they weren't attainable before. Some of those things are they unlock a level of magnetism and attraction in your life by being able to be who you are. And this can apply anywhere in your life. It can apply, obviously it can apply in like the social situation. It can apply in business situations. It can apply whatever. You're going to feel successful when you are 100% on your own side, loving yourself. And as a result, doing what you wish to do and moving toward what you want in life. And so it starts with that, like being comfortable with who you are now, being on your own side, no matter what, as Dr. Aziz likes to say. And then once that's true, you can say, okay, I'm good enough how I am now. And what do I want to see different in my immediate environment and in the world at large? I'm good now, and I'm okay now. And other things in the world would be great to see. And so I'm going to go make those things happen. And the more that you practice the courage habit, the more that you practice that feeling the fear and doing it anyway, the more confident you're going to be to go out and make those things happen. Okay, so this is a big lesson. And it's something that I'm still working through. And honestly, I need to complete that exercise of asking 5 strangers what time it is and asking 3 strangers for restaurant recommendations, and not do it in the context like this where I have all this great, credibility, I guess, with my audience, but do it in a place where nobody knows me. And so I'm going to go do that. What action steps do you have? Leave a comment with this episode or a review. Let me know what action steps you're taking in your life now. How are you being courageous? How are you going to be courageous? And also leave in that comment on a scale 1 to 10, let me know how valuable you found this and why. So what are your takeaways and what's your rating for this episode? Also tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet will know to share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly, and subscribe before you go. Subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com to get my daily episodes Monday through Friday. Clearly, sometimes I talk about more like, personal development stuff. And a lot of times I talk about much more in terms of marketing strategy and tactics, etc. And you get all of it because you're getting me. Like, you're getting me being me and sharing what is interesting to me as somebody who is in the trenches every day doing marketing, and what I feel is most helpful on my journey of growing as a marketer and becoming even more successful every day, both in terms of the internal fulfillment and the external success that's measured by leads, customer sales, profits, etc. So I was aiming for 10 out of 10 value. This is a bit of a different episode, but I hope that I've delivered it here, and I look forward to catching you again in our next episode. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.